here in another 7 to 10 minutes. It will be decently rocky from all the a lot of stuff. Obviously the views are impeccable out this way, especially on a year like this one where we have all the snow lingering in the mountains. That being Mount Tahoe when there's not so much snow on it. So if you do plan on doing any hiking around this area, cities, who knows what lingers underneath us. All sorts of fish, of course, the original fish being the cutthroat trout, nearly fished to extinction back when San Francisco's numbers were initially booming. The lake monster Tahoe test, no big deal. Folks at the Emerald Bay. So go ahead and grab onto a little something as we come into the fortune. Now 15, we'll have 10 feet of water under the boat in just a split second. Look at how the colors change in the water. That beautiful turquoise. So we talked about Lake Tahoe being formed by tectonic activity and ultimately these fault lines slowly pushing the... Or is what's just dead ahead at this point, being the only island on all of Lake Tahoe. Fannette Island. As we get closer, you'll notice that there's a hut made on the top there of the same peppered granite that we find all throughout the bay. The bulk of what she used to build out her summertime home came from the first marriage, where her and her husband, which we'll be coming up on in just a moment, she was actually unmarried and without children. We'll hit that story a little bit deeper here in just a moment, but as we come up on the island, notice how there's people all over it, including that little top spot there, being the tea house of Vikings Home, where on a day like today, after having a gourmet lunch with Miss Laura Knight, people would come out here to this island here is actually set aside as a nesting grounds for the Canada honker geese between January and May of every year. Good 80 to 100 pair of geese will be out here every single year. The tail end of the winter season. But as you can see right now, it's just a playground for people to crawl all over. Just for yourself and for occasional guests. I think it would be something fairly small and elegant. As you can see, as we get closer and closer here to Vikings Home, it was anything but that. In fact, when all was said and done, nearly 12,000 square feet of interior space with 39 rooms, all circling around it. So we're going to get a little bit closer here, check out the structure and see what's going on. As we do, a round room right behind that tree there will become more and more visible here in a second. That round room is $40,000. Still on display. Just off to the right side of that, the first two banks of windows, those are the living room. Continuing to the right is the dining room. And then the part that sticks out a little bit toward us, that being the morning room. Imagine having your own room just for drinking your morning coffee and morning tea. Now everything you see on the second floor and up to the third floor there, those being the sleeping rooms for both Laura and for her guests. But her preference, what she really enjoyed every night, was that upper right-hand corner where it was just screened in over the windows. She called it her sleeping porch. Just to enjoy. She'd always said this is ultimately where she wanted to spend her final days. And Laura got her wish. After 15 seasons in Lake Tahoe, at the age of 82, and just 2 days after her arrival for the summer, she passed away right here at Viking's home. One of the most striking examples of Scandinavian design outside of a Nordic country. If you do, just a word of warning, especially this week, it is going to be a madhouse trying to find parking up there. So you'll want to find a way to get dropped off or come by boat. Also, it's a mile hike down from the roadway to the waterfront. And decently steep. Feels closer to 5 miles on the way back up. Not here, but we'll get just close enough to where we can see a little bit more of what it would have been like for Laura Knight back in the day. But right about now, folks, since we got a little bit of a clearing here, we're going to go ahead and jam.